I tell people all the time, it's like brushing your teeth. You have to do a little bit every day throughout the day. So it's not a workout, it's a lifestyle. And lifestyle is key to improving what you guys are trying to go after. And like I said, it's like I move better now than I did when I was 20, pain free. Like I might have been jumping higher, stronger at 20 because of all the stuff I was doing. But the functionality and the stuff that you'll have from doing a simple routine daily where you mixed it in, okay? It's like massaging the body. People go to chiropractors, massage therapists. It's got to be a lifestyle.
Welcome to the Ingrained Balanced podcast. So happy to have you guys here for this interesting conversation we're about to have. We're going to be talking about methods and things you can do to help increase your mobility, which ultimately increases strength, gives you a strong foundation, support, so you can be active and enjoy those things you like to do, whether it's golf, tennis. Now a lot of people getting the pickleball the older we get, right? So let me tell you a little bit about Bobby, our guest. He's a physiotherapist who has spent over 3 decades as an athlete, a student, and educator of physical movement. Now in the best shape of his life, his mission is to help others move with ease, grace, and power to eliminate pain, reduce the chance of injury, and maximize performance. As a double Division I college athlete playing basketball and baseball, Bobby's athletic success was plagued by injury. The road to his success was born out of necessity as he had to figure out how to prehab and rehab for himself. Now, the developer and founder of BAMmetrics, which stands for Bobby Aldridge Method, is sharing his proprietary system used by professional athletes with us to help increase mobility, unlock joints, eliminate dysfunction while alleviating pain, preventing injury, and increasing performance. I mean, I know I have a lot of listeners who are into golf, playing some tennis, taking up pickleball. If you're in your 40s or 50s, you're going to really like what this guy has to say. Okay, it's actually without any further ado, let's get into it. All right, Bobby, how are you today? Thanks for joining us.
I'm good. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Great. This is Marty here, my co-host with us. We've been looking
Hey,
forward to
Marty.
having this
Hey,
conversation with
Bobby.
you. Due to the fact that we're two older guys suffering from chronic pain and flexibility, although we try to deal with it to keep our physical fitness regime in place. But when we get a chance to talk to somebody like you who kind of walks the walk and you've lived a incredible life, and we can't wait to get into it a little bit more. But before we do, as we do with all of our guests, I want to ask you about any habits you do in the morning when you wake up. What did you do today that you try to do every morning?
I literally do where I get out of bed and I walk towards the bathroom. I walk like an old man because I'm 53 years old. So stiff as could be. I don't pop out of bed like Spider-Man. I walk to the bathroom, I jump in the shower, I turn it on, and I have a step in there. So I do a thing called the runner stretch. I do that for about 30 seconds to a minute. I switch feet, do the other side, which gets my hamstrings, my calf, my low back, my T-spine. And then sometimes I'll drop to my knees and put my hands on the counter and open up my chest and shoulders and just let the hot water roll on my back. And then I'll get up and stand up and I'll do it with my hands over my head straight, where most guys can't get their arms straight right here. Okay, men, they cannot bring them in towards their ears. They can't push them back behind their shoulders. They don't have that mobility. So I'll hold that for about 30 seconds. And then I literally start the day like I feel better. So I tell people all the time, it's like brushing your teeth. You have to do a little bit every day throughout the day. So it's not a workout, it's a lifestyle. And lifestyle is key to improving what you guys are trying to go after. And like I said, it's like I move better now than I did when I was 20, pain free. Like I might have been jumping higher, stronger at 20 because of all the stuff I was doing. But the functionality and the stuff that you'll have from doing a simple routine daily where you mix it in, okay? It's like massaging the body. People go to chiropractors, massage therapists. It's got to be a lifestyle. And if you fit that into, like, you guys are on a podcast right now. So you get off the podcast, you stand up, you do a runner stretch right at your desk. You get a routine going that mixes in throughout the day. So at the end of the day, we're all busy, especially if you have kids, a job, the whole thing. it'll simplify movement and make you feel better. So,
I got a question. So we've had some guests on the show preaching obvious the cold showers. Do you sprinkle in a cold
oh yeah,
shower every now and then?
that's rough for me because I really like the hot shower to be honest. But yeah, my friend Tony, who professional baseball player, retired, the whole thing, he does it all the time, every morning. And I'm like, Tony, how do you shock yourself every morning? I have another guy, actually, Jared Goff is the football player. If you guys know football, his dad, Jerry, I play golf with, I'm gonna play with today. He played for the Pittsburgh Pirates and that whole thing. He actually bought a cold tub and takes it every day for 7 minutes. And he's like, Bob, dude, I feel amazing. And I said, I know because we used to, back in the day when we used to squat, 400 pounds, 500-pound deadlift, all that stuff. We used to go to the beach, get in the water for 30 minutes and freeze our body. And the ions in the ocean, nothing better. Nothing better. If somebody lives close to the ocean and it's cold, I am telling you, you'll feel like a rubber band when you come out if you do that for 30 minutes. Okay. Not 5 minutes, 30. Go in there, let the inflammation leave your body. It's an amazing feeling.
I wonder if it's better to if you're going to try to do that every day or a couple days a week, more beneficial to do it in the morning right when you get up or before you go to sleep. Would you know that answer?
Yeah, I would say at the end of the day, for the reason that you had the day you had, whatever that is, everybody's different, but you ice down and take the inflammation away and then you go to sleep, right? There's one thing I do every night before bed is I lay on the block, those blocks I have behind me back there. I lay on those and they open up my chest and shoulders because throughout the day, we all get more rounded this way, right? So by laying on those blocks, it opens up my chest and shoulders.
And to our listeners, you'll be able to check this out on our YouTube video if you want to watch. So
You literally put these blocks down. Now, if you're a beginner and not very flexible, you might put them like this, right? So this is 6 inches, this is 10 inches, this is 12 inches. So I do this every night before bed. So I put it at 12 like this, and then they have to be straight across like this. So this is what it looks like. You see my toes and feet, how the ankles fall out. So I look like that. So what it's doing is it's opening up the roundness that we have throughout the day. It's opening that up and it's getting my hips to internally rotate, which normally they're the opposite way. So we don't have very good internal external rotation, which causes a lot of back pain. So by doing this every night, so if I do it this way, you guys can see. So that's what it looks like this way. Okay. So it's literally opening up my chest and shoulders and reducing the amount of kyphotic is what they call it, rounded back. You're going to have a better position, which reduces pain. So the biggest thing with people, if you want to understand pain, it's compensation. So one muscle's weak, one muscle's strong, one muscle's short, one muscle's long, right? So if we get those to even out, you'll reduce your pain. So like one of my favorites, the wall windmill, where we put our arms and head and everything on the wall and do a windmill. You will notice like, God, my body's a little rotated that way. You'll feel it because of the wall. So all the exercises that I teach and help you guys, especially when you're over 40, because most of you haven't done this stuff. I have pro athletes that haven't done this stuff. So for most of you, if I can get you to move better, okay, mobility, then add strength, you're not going to have pain. Most people say, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to run, I'm going to get fit, but they're not mobile. Now, mobile means not flexibility. Flexibility is the length of the muscle, mobility is the amount it allows you to move. For example, if I do this exercise where I'm going to put my feet wide, so right now they're 60 inches apart. I put my hand on the ground. Now, if you don't have it's not the range of motion, it's the strength through the joint as you move. You won't be your body won't let you do it, right? So it's not a matter of length; it's a matter of strength of that joint. That's mobility, right? So most people go to the gym and strengthen, 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 strengthen. If you do it this way, you will feel the best you could feel. Mobility first, soft tissue work on that mobility, then add strength. Okay. It's like writing code. You write the code, that's good. You push enter. Most people push enter and they have no clue with the code. That's the problem with fitness. And that goes on at the highest level. I'll talk about Will Zalatoris on the Pro Tour Golf Tour.
I want to interrupt you for just 1 second because
Yeah,
you
far away.
hit on a point that is like near and dear to my heart. So I'm a power lifter. That's what I like doing right now, and I have liked doing it for the last 7, 8 years. And so mobility, I was introduced to mobility by my trainer after he really introduced me to powerlifting in a serious way. Because if you powerlift in a serious way, you're going to feel pain and you're gonna, so when he talked about mobility to me, it was that soft tissue work. And so to me, when I first learned about mobility equaled pain because that stuff was really painful. And as he was doing it, I would make all kinds of, grunting and pain sounds on the table. And there's a gym of people looking at me like he's like torturing me or something. And then, but he was like, don't worry, when you get up, you're going to feel so much better. And
Yeah, it's like active release.
yeah,
Active release.
I
Yeah.
thought he was just a, sort of a,
Misogynist.
yeah, yeah, a
Yeah,
sadist, a
yeah,
sadist,
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
sadist.
The wrong
Yeah.
word, maybe.
Yeah.
Not a misogynist. Yeah, yeah. That's what I meant.
I was like, whoa. Yeah, no, no,
Ah,
no. I thought it was just a sadist until I got up and I was like, wow. And I always had the question with him because there are times when I will have things like I will have a recurring uh soreness, stiffness in my upper back, sort of by my trap that can if I leave it untended, it will go all the way down my arm, tricep, bicep, into my forearm, all the way to my wrist. It'll go that whole
that's an
nerve.
impingement. That's an
Exact.
impingement.
Yep.
100%
Yep.
impingement.
Yep.
Yep.
So
I've had those. I can fix
yeah,
that.
yeah. And so he taught he's give me a lacrosse ball, and I worked the lacrosse ball over and over and all the way up and down the arm and the back, and
Yep.
and I always asked him the question, hey, should I do this before I lift or after I lift? And you talked about when I heard you before, I think you talked about, hey, you need to do this before you lift.
But what depends on the situation. So if you have an issue before, if you don't have an issue, but you want to touch on the body, then after, because you strengthen, you do all your stuff, you're kind of tight. You got to take those knots out. So to really simplify this for your guys who are watching the video, let me simplify this for you for foam rolling and everything. Literally, your muscle is this. Okay. Now, if you have a knot in the muscle, okay, so here's your knot. It looks like this, right? Now, if you're going to stretch it, what happens to the knot? It gets worse. So should you do foam rolling first or should you do stretching first? Foam roll. Take that knot out. Once the knot's out, then stretch it as much as you want and you're not going to hurt it. Then strengthen it. That is the order to feeling amazing. That is the holy grail, what I just told you guys. So
Yeah, that makes a lot of
most, even
sense.
pro athletes don't understand that. I'm talking, so Will Zalatoris, you'll have to look him up if you don't follow golf, just had back surgery. I watched him last year. He's very arched in his back, very compressed. And the trainer for the PGA, Professional Golf Association, came out to help him. Okay. He rotated him, he lifted him, he rotated him. Zach goes, oh, no, I'm good. Couldn't take it. There's no way he should have done what he did with him. So at the highest level, these guys really don't understand what to do. There's 5 things I would have done to Zach that probably would have made him feel better because most of the time it happens. I call myself the one hit wonder, and not because I'm a genius. I am stupid, but I follow the best guys and I steal from all of them. So I have 10 people taking my test and I look at everyone and I go, those 2 have the same answer and those don't, I'll take that. So I get 100% on my test. That's what I try to explain to people because I'm actually stupid. So I have to cheat off everyone to be better. So
Well,
what
that's
I'm
what we're
telling
doing
you,
right now.
That's what heck.
well, that's
We're
what
planning on
what
cheating off of you.
Yeah.
well, what I'm telling you guys is literally, I wish I would have known what I know now. I wouldn't have had two hip replacements this year. Literally, January I had one, December I had one, right, left. And I mean, look at me now. I can do anything I want, full squats, one leg balance, doesn't matter what it is. It's mobility is key to improving performance, reducing pain, and letting you do what you love to do. So for me, pro athlete to weekend warrior, what do you guys want to do and enjoy? If you want to be a power lifter, God, I can't imagine. I did 450 back in the day. I would have done 650 because I would have never hurt and I would have kept getting stronger. I'll tell you guys one story. My son is 16 now, so 4 years ago he was 12. We finished baseball practice at my facility, uh, and basically they said, "Hey, can we do a bench press contest at the bar?" And I said, "Sure." So the kids wanted to do a bench press contest. So they jump on, they do 18. Then the high school kids jumped in, did 38. Then the college kids jumped in, they did 78. Then they said, "Bob, what can you do?" And I'm like, "Oh shit, I don't- I don't bench 315 anymore. I bench about 260, right? So I'm not as strong." I go, I did 104 back in the day. Right now, oh man, 78 might be tough. I wasn't sure. I was like kind of getting nervous, right? So I go, okay, I got to get on there. I got to get 79, and I'm pretty good at ramping it up. 79. So I'm thinking 79. That's all I was thinking. 75, 100, 150, 200. So why did that happen? Okay, look at this. Back in the day, bodybuilder, strong guy, buff, ripped, shoulders forward. I felt it here. This time, I was in a perfect position. I didn't feel it to the end in my triceps because it's so light. It was like not my shoulders, it was my triceps. So I left that day going, oh my God, my freaking program is unbelievable. Like I didn't know how good it was till that day when I left and said, Bodie, I'm so happy you guys did that. I'm like, I didn't know because I tell you, I lay on the block every night. I do my stuff in the morning and then I mix in throughout the day, depending on the clients, different exercises. I do not do a workout for an hour a day or 2 hours a day like I used to back, way back. I have two kids, a wife, business, busy. Okay. So I get busy, but you guys got to understand if you mix this in, you're going to take that deadlift of 450 and because you're so functional, feel so good, boom, then you go like, I'm gonna go 475. But I have a kid right now who's an average athlete, very average. Goes to SMU, not playing sports right now. He used to play baseball. He deadlifted 460 the other day. This is an average guy. So if I have an amazing kid, that's 660. I mean, it's truly the limits of what you can do nowadays. And most people don't understand the climb of the mountain. Okay. There's a lady I train right now I've had for 12 years now. When I started with her, I saw her half an hour once a week. And I said to Mary, I said, Mary, I'm stealing your money. You got to come twice a week. This is ridiculous. She comes twice a week. Long story short, COVID started. I wasn't seeing anyone. I was on Zoom. And she said, could you come see me? And I said, I'll see you only. So I went and saw her only 3 times a week. Now we've been consistent since COVID, 3 times a week. She is 114 pounds. She's now 119. She's gained actually weight because of strength. She carries 40-pound dumbbells in each hand and jumps rope in between for a minute, 4 sets. Now, you don't understand. This lady thought when I handed her 5-pound weight, I was crazy. That's how far she's come. I have one other story with a lady that was 90 years old that started with me at 87. She came to me 3 times a week. And I used to hand her like a 5 pound, 10 pound, 20 pound to do the squat, hold the weight, touch the ground, stand up, right? Every week, every 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it was, I'd hand her another five. So it was like 15, 20, 20. She got up to 50 pounds for 20 reps. Now, that taught me what the human body can do. At 87, she was never working out in her life. Her husband died. She came in. She'd wear the same outfit every day, her little Adidas black suit with her gray hair. She'd come in every morning, 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, never miss, never miss. And we'd have our little, and I'd be talking to her and she'd be like, "Oh, God, oh." And I'd say, "Oh, Bernadette, keep going. Great job. How's your daughter doing?" And she'd keep going, right? And it was like, it's really funny how we set limits to ourselves that we could be so much better if you just allow it to happen. So
It's incredible. And this is just by addressing some of the core principles of mobility and function before you get into actually lifting the weights, which is actually, let's jump back into that. These just daily habits, right? Things we could do. Marty, I know with me, and I think most adults, especially men, lower back pain, right? Or
that's a big one. 80% of people have low back pain. 8 out
l-
of 10 people in the US have
yeah.
back pain.
And that's just mostly from poor habits, right? Like I notice you're sitting on a balance ball, right? Do you do that
Well,
whenever you're sitting for lengths of time? Do to
this
help
is what I was going to say. So, a simple fix to I do corporate wellness. That's part of on my website. I do corporate wellness. I get them to sit on balls if the bosses will allow it. Why? So, years ago, 20 years ago, there was an article in Shape magazine or one of the magazines. I don't remember which one. They had women sit on a ball for like 12 weeks. Okay. They didn't change their diet. They didn't change anything. They lost on average 4 to 6 inches on their waist because they're sitting. Look at me.
just taking their core to balance it?
They're
Yeah.
sitting. They're doing this, but you're not seeing that. I'm sitting here like I'm stagnant, but I'm not stagnant. If you put a slow motion camera on me, I'm moving. So my hips never lock up. They're always moving. The better you move, the better your performance and the less pain you will have. So when somebody has an ache or a pain, there's a compensation there. So don't go diving into go get chiropractic, go get something. You have to figure that pain out. And every doctor that's out there does what they teach. If they're a hip replacement guy, he's going to give you, you need a hip replacement. If you go to a doctor that prescribes medicine, he's going to prescribe medicine. So you guys got to kind of do some due diligence to understand why do you feel this way? Okay. And then make a decision on how you're going to treat it. Because most of the time, the human body will figure it out if you teach it that. That's what I've seen. I had back pain for years to tell you the story because I broke my back in a car accident. For 2 years, the lawyers were saying, "How do you feel? How do you feel? How do you feel?" I said, "It hurts right here," because they were asking me. Okay. I was thinking about it. When it was lawsuit was over, the pain disappeared. This is like my client, Jano, who her husband goes, "Yeah, she like complains about back pain every day. Da, da, da." She went on vacation for 3 weeks. She never mentioned it because she didn't think about it. So you guys got to be careful with chasing pain. That's almost, it's not ghost pain, but it almost is that. You'll find it because that's what you're looking for. And that's how human beings are.
Yeah,
So
psychosomatic, it works. If somebody tells you oh, this is out of alignment. You go to a chiropractor and they say, "Oh, this is out of alignment." For the next couple of days, you're going to be like, "Oh, wow, yeah, I'm a little sore." You're like, I totally, I mean, I get that. I'm a psych major undergrad, so I mean, the power of the
oh
mind,
yeah,
the
100%.
mind and the body, very strongly connected. But I mean, to go back to something that you were talking about, and Lonnie, you've known me. I used to have back pain constantly. I used to have and brutal. I had pain so badly one time. I was walking down a long hallway in a hotel and I couldn't make it the length of the hallway. It was actually at one of the it was like one of the resort spas in the Northeast, like one of the
Ah, you
old
were in
school ones.
Vegas. That's why
No,
you
no,
couldn't.
no, 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 no. I had gone running and then I did basketball and I did lifting and on the basketball court I tried to go up for a rebound and I like landed awkwardly and so I had this pain in my back and it got so bad I literally couldn't walk down the hallway and I just lied there, you know, in the middle of the hallway as people passed me by and saying like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "No, I'm fine. I'm okay." I like tough guy. I'm okay. But I had no idea what to do about that. when I learned about mobility, when I was taught, you know what, when you hurt in place A, it may that's probably not the what is causing your pain. Maybe that's where it's ending up, but it's that area is being pulled on by some other area, and that's what's causing it. So you got to work on the area. You got to exhaust that muscle group that's pulling on that muscle that's causing you the pain. So don't just
You're
work
actually
where
a-
you
you're
see the
actually
pain. Feel
100%
the pain.
right with what you're saying. Is That's what I was saying about a weak muscle versus a strong muscle, a lengthened muscle versus a short muscle. They're all fighting each other. So when you start out, do you ever see a baby have trouble doing a full squat or they play on the ground at 8 months, 9 months, 10 months old? They're literally in a full squat playing, right? Most of us adults can't do that because we stop doing what we used to do. We sit at the toilet, so we never go below the toilet. The number one thing in China, over there in Asia, they squat all the way down to go to the bathroom. So they have no ankle, knee, or hip problem because they have full range of motion. Okay. So why is that? Because of their lifestyle. So I tell people every day, lifestyle wise, work on a full squat where you can squat down, stand there, and just hold that and relax and be comfortable, right? That's going to make a difference in your life, not to be an athlete, but just to enjoy life and pain free. Your back won't hurt because you can do that. So you're right on with that,
Yeah.
Martin.
And since I've done squats and I learned, I had a trainer who was very diligent about form and very diligent about yeah, you didn't really go down. That wasn't a full squat. You need to, you're gonna,
Get it down there.
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So I have not had back pain. So I have not had back pain at all. And it used to be a huge problem for me. So to
that's
me,
awesome.
Both of us. Yeah.
I credit powerlifting and mobility, learning about my body. Okay. I'm feeling a little tight in my back. Let me work on my quads. Let me work on my hips. Let me work on my inductors. Let me all of that stuff. And for me, it was a life changing experience once I incorporated that. So when I heard about mobility, but your process when you say, "Hey, soft tissue work, stretch, then lift," that is something a little bit new for me. I was really taught. Well, it doesn't really, sometimes it helps to do the soft tissue work beforehand, but usually we did the soft tissue work afterwards. To be honest.
And that is true for this reason. Guys will say you don't loosen up too much because you want that tension in there to be stronger. That's why. So if you have pain, I have you guys do that soft tissue work. If you don't need it right at the beginning, go into your lifting because you're going to be tighter. Guys that run faster have tighter hamstring. It's a fact. Okay. It's why we do hamstring stuff with all my runners to get them super strong in their hamstrings so they run faster. But there's that fine line of too much strength and then they pull their hamstring, or better mobility, but it slows them down. So it's a fine line at the highest level to play with that. Okay.
Well,
Um,
luckily, I don't need to
but
compete at the highest level. So
Yeah.
what do you deadlift, Martin? What do you deadlift right now?
405. I don't really go over 405, but I don't use
That's awesome.
I've stopped using a belt. So
Yeah.
I don't
All
use a
my
belt.
guys,
I don't use
I
wraps.
don't,
I don't use any
that's
straps,
awesome.
nothing. I'm completely naked.
Awesome.
So well, I'm not
That's
naked. I wear
awesome.
shorts, but
That's but that's true strength, and that's I- if you're an older guy that's and not competing in the way of you got to add 100 pounds to that, you should do it that way because a belt and wraps and all the stuff it helps you 100%, but that's the stabilizer. So my son just recently, he's a sophomore, and I've been holding him back on a belt for years. Okay, he's a sophomore. He did 485 the other day, and he goes, "Papa, the guys are doing with a belt. Why don't I use a belt?" And I'm like, "We don't use belts." I wouldn't let him use a belt. He
Not
put
my
he put a
house.
he put a belt on and went up 50 pounds
easy,
instantly.
easy.
And he
Yeah.
goes, "Papa, the belt's so light." And I'm like, "That's the stability of the belt." And I'm like keeping you away from that He back squatted 440. He's a sophomore in high school. This is a kid that's been doing this stuff for a while. He can do the splits, he can do all the mobility stuff. He's just a great little athlete, plays baseball, basketball, football, all of it. But it's like, I wish I would have had me as a dad back in the day helping me, because he's not going to have pain. He's not going to have that hip. He's not going to have a hip replacement because he's working on his mobility. It's not just strength where we tighten up the joint and just lock it down and hammer it. He's actually opening that up and very fluid, and you know, so but I tell everybody out there, you could be a super senior and start with just a simple wall windmill, a runner stretch. Put your hands on a chair at the top and work on that rotation. These are all simple things that we teach, at Bam Motion. It makes it easy for you guys to repeat this stuff. If you guys have blocks, you lay on them every night. It opens up your chest and shoulders. You spend 5, 6, 7 minutes there, then go to bed, right? So you're actually making your body better. And that's why I made these tools. And um, I hope someday soon I'll be into the stores to help more people understand how to make their bodies feel better, because it's working amazing right now. I had I asked for a testimonial from one of my clients the other day, 2 days ago. Her husband is the doctor for the San Francisco Giants. Okay. He's the doctor. She had back pain for 9 months. Okay. So I said, "Can you send me a testimonial?" She said, "Bob, that's as good as it's going to get. I hate being on camera. I hate being but I did it. Da, 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 da." But she says, "Hey, I played golf today. I walked all 18. I had no pain, and I shot 78. Her best score ever is 76, which she shot last week. She shot 78 again. So your body, when it feels good, you will maximize what you're doing. So if you just want to hang out with your grandkids and go for a walk, you're going to feel better from this. If you're a high level athlete who really wants to improve, you need to do this for the reason some of the stuff that we teach, medicine ball push-ups on the mat, absolute magic. And the reason I know that, 7 weeks during COVID, didn't bench press, didn't do anything, but did the medicine ball push-ups with my kids Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Medicine ball push-ups on the mat. Let me show you guys so you guys can see this. So we put a ball in the middle of the mat. Okay. There's boxes. We go from outside and we move in one box, move in one box, move in one box, move in. And then we do the seventh one on the ball. When you finish the seventh one, we go back out. So we'll go back out from here all the way to the edge, right? So that's 14 when I get back out there. If I do 14, I'll take a 90-second break. If you're new to it, we'll do 7 in, minute break, 7 out, minute break, 6 sets. When we're doing 14, we'll do 4 sets. So 3 sets of 14 and then as many as you can. Okay. So during COVID, we did this with the family. My daughter, she's a golfer. My son plays all the sports. We would do it 3 times a week consistently. I never bench pressed. At the end of that, in 7 weeks, you know how you never bench? It feels heavy, take off 225, right? I took off 225 and did it 5 times, and I was like, that was easy. Let's try 260. Boom, 275. Boom. I was like, holy shit. Those medicine ball push-ups are unbelievable. And the reason is I talked to Don Chu. You guys will have to look him up. He wrote the book on jumping into plyometrics. He worked with all the national teams, Stanford, NBA, NFL. Don Chu, just retired. He's like 82 now. I said, "Don, why is this working so well? I feel so freaking strong in my shoulder and nothing hurts." He goes, "Bob, it's core strength. When I do that medicine ball push-up routine, when you push off, this right foot wants to lift. So you're fighting the rotation. It's an anti-rotation exercise. So Martin, for you, you need to add that in. That routine right there will make you a beast. Deadlifts, everything, you're just so tight. You just feel strong through the core. Your core is like amazing because of that. So, long story short, when you do the right exercises, when you mix in the mobility with the soft tissue work, add the bands for the strength, and then strengthen on top of that. I mean, like I said, I'm 53 and I feel like a 20-year-old right now. Even though I had 2 hip replacements, I'm telling you, Martin, your deadlift will go up 40 pounds. You'll be like effortless power. Like, wow, what the heck is that?
You're telling me the ball push-ups will help me with my deadlift because of the core strength, not because I mean,
100%.
because you think of that as more of a chest, back, shoulder exercise, triceps,
Yeah,
that's what that's working really, and you don't think of those as being I mean, you're using that in a deadlift, but that's not really the primary, right? So, what you're
your
saying
primary actually is your core. That's why when you put a belt on, you go up. So if your core is stronger, it's effortless power. So for example, my son 2 years ago, he did 28 2-minute rest, 28 2-minute rest, 28 2-minute rest, 56. I've never had an athlete even come close. None, zero across the board of Major League Baseball, NFL, soccer, pick them all. No one can touch it. The only ones that have a chance are rock climbers and gymnastics.
Oh,
That's
it's
it.
all core. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all core. So what's that teach you? Because my son, I had him do gymnastics, ballet, and taekwondo when he was little. Why? Because I heard from one of the trainers I saw in my first year, those are the 3 things to make an athlete. So I did that. Then I added all the deadlifts and power cleans and all that. He was a national Olympic lifter when he was 10. He went against a kid that was 14 in his weight group and he lost by like 50 pounds because of the kid's
yeah, yeah,
14, he's
right, yeah,
10.
yeah, yeah, right.
But
Difference
Bodie
in
didn't understand
testosterone.
that.
Yeah.
Bodie like left and goes, I hate Olympic lifting. I stopped. And
Oh,
the guy that was teaching him goes, your son is so natural at the bottom because he had great mobility at 10 because of all the stuff I told you, gymnastics, ballet, taekwondo, all the way up from 5 to 10. So he's very mobile, very strong for his age, could walk on his hands, all the stuff. He could do backflips. He could do all that stuff at 10. But he didn't understand that kid's 14. It's like, Bodie, he's way older than you. You're the same weight, but you're not the same strength and years.
Yeah,
But
his
he didn't get
development is
that. So he
different, yeah.
he thought he sucked and he goes, I don't like Olympic lifting. But it's great now. I mean, he hang cleans like 275 as a sophomore because of all the technique he had. All the other kids have no technique. So it's fun to watch. But anyway, yeah.
all right, you guys. Well, outside of the heavy lifting, that's out of my realm. Back to the average everyday guy, because I do know on your website, your methodologies and your equipment, you speak to people that are either playing golf, tennis. We have a lot of listeners I know for a fact that play golf, pickleball, and tennis. So I'm going to send them, all of our listeners, to learn more about your equipment and your methodologies to your website. But I'm going to give you little 2 minutes here to give me your elevator pitch on why the average day person that plays in these recreational sports would find your methodologies and your equipment beneficial to their everyday participation.
Yeah, but it's super simple. It's metrics based. It's measurable. So when you start doing it, you follow the videos that explain it to you, but you have a measurable amount of how wide are your feet? Okay. Are they 30 inches today? Next week, 32, 34? You know exactly. So to understand this, I had 39 physical therapists in a room and I was teaching them. And I said, hey guys, you know the stagger stance miniband walk? And they said, sure, of course. Come on out. Give me 3 guys. 1, 2, 3. Here's a light band, medium band, heavy band. Start doing it. I said to the other physical therapists, what would you change about their movement? And they go, oh, put your feet closer, put your feet wider, put your feet here, put your feet there. And I said, guys, this is therapist to therapist. They should know how to do it without you telling them anything, right? But it's it was objective on what they were looking at. So I took my mat, I flipped it over, and I said, you do 1 box, you do 2 boxes, and you do 3 boxes. And the girl I told to do 3 boxes had the heaviest band. I did it on purpose. They started going, and I said to them, hey, what would you change about their movement now? And they go, hey, she's got to move in 1 box. And I'm all ding, ding, ding. We're speaking the language now. 1 box, 2 box, 3 box, not how wide are your feet. So for you guys to understand what I'm talking about right now, if you take a mini band and you put it on your ankles, This is what I was talking about. And I say, I want you to do it one box apart today. That's one box. Okay. If that's easy, next week, let's go to two boxes. And then the week after, let's go to three boxes. That make sense? So the following week, I'm going to raise the band and start over at one box. You're now a professional trainer. I just taught you how to do that perfectly. And I never have to talk to you again. You can do this yourself. That's
I love it.
why my program works so well. It's not magic. It's not a new shiny object. It's right there and simple. You will see medium band, two boxes. Next week, try three boxes. Oh, that's too heavy. I'm going to stay at two until you build up. That's how my whole program is. So that's why I train trainers, and that's why I train physical therapists. I teach them some of the exercises that they're using every day, and then they show it to their clients. So now they can do it at home to work on mobility at home. So when they come to see the trainer, let's strengthen, let's Olympic lift, let's do stuff that's more active, right? Let's not waste time for 20 or 30 minutes on mobility. They can do that at home for 10 or 15 minutes every day and do it perfectly as I was standing there, right? Put your feet one box apart, put your feet three boxes apart, five boxes apart. You guys do it just as if I was standing there because of the tools. Lay on the blocks at 6 inches, 10 inches, or 12 inches. It's perfect. That's why it works so well. So,
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah.
Well, Marty, I think we're about going to wrap it up. Do you have any other questions or comments?
No, this is great. I mean, I know what I'm going to take away from this is the process of when I have an issue, when I have pain, that I can go through the process of, okay, soft tissue work, stretching, then strengthening. To me, that's a huge benefit for me to have confidence in that sequence. Because I had an idea that I needed to do those things. I just didn't know the sequence. So
Yeah. And literally, I mean, I call it the Magnificent Seven. You need to do the wall windmill. That's a no-brainer. If I have anybody I train, okay, they show up, they just go right to the wall windmill start. First thing, take out the rotation. Then they do their Spider-Man and they check their lunge, how far they're apart. I'm at 50 inches on this side, 50. Oh, wow, that's tight on that side for 50 inches. They know. I don't have to tell them anymore. That's the magic of really getting results. It's like business. What's your revenue? Oh, I'm generating 30,000 a month. Well, what's your revenue? Everybody, they don't measure their mobility. It's guesswork out there, and it's a lot of shiny objects. And this is why a lot of people are in pain and back pain and all the stuff that they do. They don't understand. But it is that simple. Like I told you about my Giants doctors lady, she does it on her own now. She sees me once a month. She stops in, we look at what she's doing. How are you feeling? Try this new one, switch this around. But she is empowered because she can do it at home. She loves it because she can do it on her own and mixes it into what you guys are doing. So anyway, thanks for having me on today. I really appreciate it. Fun
Yeah.
day. Great talking, Martin. I want to see that get to 500.
absolutely, I will work
I'm
on
out.
it. I'm going to be
Let's go,
there.
baby.
Give me
Let's
about
go.
3 months. I'm going to do my medicine ball push-ups. I'm going to get there.
Do you change your reps? 5 sets of five, 4 sets of four, 3 sets of two, 4 sets of one, 5 sets, four, three, two, one.
I'll tell you what, I do mostly higher reps. I don't do a lot of single reps. I max very infrequently. I far prefer doing the higher volume stuff. So my low volume is like 4 sets of five. That's going to be low volume. High volume is going
Oh,
to be
wow. So I could get you,
three
I
sets
could
of
get you up.
12 or more.
You could do 75 to 100 pounds in 6 weeks if you did my routine. Not a question, because you're like a 100-meter sprinter who's running marathons. Yeah, that's literally how I explain it. Okay. My wife played tennis with Nick Bollettieri back in the day, and he used to have them run 5 miles a day, 5 miles. And I said, oh my God, clueless. You don't run miles. You run 12, 15 hundreds. 20, 50s, right? He'd have them run 5 miles. And if they didn't make a certain time, they'd run it again. So he actually was making you slower. And that's Nick Bollettieri, the #1 tennis teacher of all time, who I sat with in Wimbledon, had a talk as his wife looked at me and said, "Damn, what do you do for your legs? You have incredible legs." And I go, "I don't know what all the tennis players do. We do a box jump, da, da, da." She goes, "Oh, they're not doing that." And I go, "Really?" She's all, "You need to meet my husband." So, "Hey, Nick, how you doing?" He goes, "Meet me inside." So we go inside and talk for 45 minutes. And he goes, "I got to have you come out to my clinic. You got to teach my trainers." Like, I said, "Don't you guys do this stuff?" And I used to make fun of tennis. That was the funniest part about this whole thing. I'm a basketball, baseball guy. But the tennis guys at that time, I would just go like, "You guys want to go play a little tennis? Put on our white little outfit? Let's go." I'd make fun of them all the time. But long story short, they had tremendous speed and power and all that, but they didn't know how to train it at the time. It was totally new, and it's still a little bit new, getting better, but it's still new to these guys, still new. So anyway, guys, thanks
All
for
right.
having me on. I appreciate it. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
Bobby, thanks again. Well, there you go, folks. Bobby Aldridge, founder and creator of the BAMmetrics system. You want to learn more about it? Just check out the website and all of his social media links in the show notes. We're going to have everything available for you guys when this episode publishes. Thank you again so much for joining us. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you subscribe to the show, like this episode, and tell your friends and family. Anybody you think needs to learn some things, incorporate some habits into their lives to create some more balance and live a healthier lifestyle, please come back and join us. All right, that's it, guys. Signing off. Take care. Bye-bye.